After a long and a meticulous process, the board has appointed a new CEO for CSA. The process took a little longer than we expected and anticipated, and that is understood from our point of view because we had a lot of quality candidates to deal with, and therefore the process needed to be very rigorous and very meticulous and detailed. We are convinced that we have made the right choice, and as a board, we're celebrating that choice. We think we've made the right choice for Cricket South Africa and South Africa at large. We are also convinced that this is a step in the right direction in terms of ensuring good governance and stability within Cricket South Africa. And we know that we have a top candidate in Mr. Lorgat, and his experience, his qualifications, and his leadership is going to benefit CSA. And without getting too much details, therefore join me, ladies and gentlemen, in welcoming to CSA our new CEO, Mr. Haroon Lorgat.
I want to echo the sentiments of the President of Cricket in saying that this was a very thorough process. We were extremely excited by the caliber of candidates, the number of candidates, and let's be honest, we at the end of the day had to interview a lot more candidates than what we thought. But we were happy that when we made our recommendations to the board, that all the governance standards that we as a board has set ourselves to adhere to in the term of our office were properly adhered to, mindful of the fact that there will always be opinions and preferences with candidates, but we felt that the recommendation that we made to the board was presenting them with the best candidate, also the candidate that we believe can take cricket forward, and we were extremely fortunate that in our preferred candidate we had the qualities of a seasoned cricketer, astute businessman, somebody with good cricketing experience, best to serve the country and the game, and also from that perspective we welcome Haroon.
I have to start by saying I feel very much at home. Very different feeling to the travels that I've experienced over the last few years. I couldn't wait for the day to return home, and I must immediately also express gratitude to both the President, Mr. Van Zeuner, for the generous words, but also to the Board of Cricket South Africa for having placed the confidence in me after what I have seen, quite a rigorous process. In fact, on Saturday, you can say I was grilled before the board, because the board wanted to know what my thinking was, what my intentions were, what strategic challenges I foresaw, what sort of initiatives I might be able to bring to the table, what value I think I could add. So I was particularly impressed with that process. So I think it's fair to say and endorse what both gentlemen have said, that it was a longer than intended process, but I think it was a fair and robust process in the end. So I'm grateful to the board for having eventually placed its confidence in me. I trust I will live up to those expectations. I guess I'm no magician, but I will do my utmost and my very best to serve cricket in South Africa. It's a place at which I began, so I think it's only right that I could come back with all of the experiences that I've gained and put it back into Cricket South Africa. We're fortunate in that the team, notwithstanding the challenge in the one-day side, the team is very strong in the test arena. It's got all the ingredients to succeed in one-day cricket as well, and I'm sure all of us will work in that direction. The World Cup in 2015 is not far off, and the planning is already underway. I've not had access to the team, to the management. I'm looking forward to that, to listen to what they've got planned, but just having seen it from the outside, it looks like they work methodically and they think carefully before they do things. So that's all very well. I think I must also take the opportunity to acknowledge and thank my predecessors, both the interim or acting chief execs in Jacques, Faul, as well as Naasei, Appiah. They've done, I think, a sterling job during a period that would have been extremely challenging. We all know what CSA experienced over a number of years in the recent past. But I think all of that's behind us. Those two served it in a manner that they could do best under challenging circumstances. I think I would be remiss also not to thank or express thanks to Gerald Majola. Again, notwithstanding the challenges that he had faced and the manner of his exit. Gerald had served Cricket South Africa for a decade, I think. I had come across him in my term as Chief of Selectors, on the board of CSA, in various subcommittees, whilst he was the Chief Executive. And then, when he was attending the ICC meetings, it's a pity in the manner that he had to exit, but I think my gratitude or appreciation to the work that he had done for Cricket South Africa is only right for me to put on record. All of that is in the past as far as I'm concerned. I start effectively on the 1st of August. So all of this is still preparatory, but knowing from previous experience as well, even though the start date is 1st of August, the work begins right away.
When we went to India in February to meet with India in Australia as our partners in the Champions League, we had an opportunity to talk to the Indian president of BCCI. They raised certain concerns about the possible appointment of Mr. Lorgat as our CEO. We made it clear to them, we said, we would not undermine your concerns, would not ignore your concerns, but we will be in a position to look into this matter and say how best is the interest of CSA addressed, and we will take decisions guided by what the interest of CSA is. And we understand and appreciate the value of the friendship and the historic relationship that is there between India and South Africa. And we have no reason to believe that his appointment is going to jeopardize that. And they were going to work very hard in terms of ensuring that that kind of a relationship is maintained. As to whether they had influence on our processes, I do not think they had an influence. They raised their own concerns. We stood on our own issues. That there's no link between what we've done and what is happening in India. We are not unaware as to what is happening in India. However, our standpoint is very clear. They are going through a process and a period of challenges. And our own point is for us to keep our distance. We cannot begin to get entangled in their own issues. And our relationship is between the boards, the association, the organization, not between individuals. Therefore, we cannot begin to make preferences about what happens there. So what we have done, we've done in the best way that we could do for Cricket South Africa, whether or not there had been any issues within the Indian Cricket Union.
I couldn't tell you. There were certain issues which they raised with respect to some of the issues I dealt with at the ICC, and that they kind of complained I shouldn't have done. And I said to them, well, let the ethics officer deal with it, because we've got an independent ethics officer, and if it's an issue that I overstepped or didn't do right, I must pay the price for. Fortunately, the ethics officer has dismissed all of those allegations. It's probably right for me not to speak much on this subject, except to say that I was particularly saddened by the inferences that were made. I didn't expect such a poor relationship to have emanated after I'd left the ICC. Without a doubt, I've got strong relationships with people within the BCCI as well, and I will do my level best to understand what the issues are with those who are not happy with whatever it is with myself personally. If I need to sit across the table, go to India, whatever it takes, I have to say that Cricket South Africa comes first. So if it means that I had wronged somebody and I need to apologize, so will I. I will do so. I will have no hesitation to do so. But I need to understand what it is, and I need to ensure that the two boards have the relationship that it always had. And in fact, we better that relationship. You cannot argue the fact that India is an important player in world cricket. I know that before I got to the ICC, I know that better after I come from the ICC. And we must respect India and its wishes. But I think that the two gentlemen have expressed the governance process that they've gone through. And I'm impressed by what they've come out with, because they've, in a sense, supported, they've done the thing properly, and it's left now for me to fix up whatever issue there might be, and I will do my level best to do so. And I